time for talk is over.
We're now just a couple weeks away from the 5th of June release of Masters of the Universe's live-action film, and I can feel the butterflies in my stomach. It reminds me of the feeling before my first date, and I can already tell you that I'm not alone. The massive fan following of He-Man will ensure that you will see plenty of middle-aged people in the theaters who will simply go in there to relive the nostalgia that made their childhood special. The official trailer has now been released, and the short video is enough to remind you of the legacy of the franchise. It has everything from badass dialogues, cool fight scenes, a deadly version of Skeletor, and a charming and powerful He-Man, alongside a wide assortment of characters. And if you haven't been excited about the movie yet, this will do it. As I sit here counting minutes, I thought this might be a good time to dive deep into the final trailer and explore a few new things that have been revealed through the brief video. The opening montage is a clear giveaway of the inspiration. The director of Masters of the Universe, Travis Knight, has not really been secretive about his love for the original 80s cartoon series, and I can see how he drives home his inspiration behind the movie with the opening montage of the final trailer. It opens with a clip of He-Man transforming in the cartoon, and the words "over 40 years ago" appear on the screen as a clear throwback to the magical time. It also says that he saved his universe, and the scene cuts away to his live-action version of He-Man. It's an emotional moment as the adult Adam remembers how the sorceress taught him as a child how to wield the magic sword and say the right words to have the power. Then comes the moment that's surely going to make the fans sit up in their chairs in the theater, because the He-Man transformation looks absolutely epic. The effects are on point as the armor magically appears on Adam and he changes into a powerful warrior. Even the sword looks badass, and even without knowing if the other elements of the film will impress the fans, I can tell you that the transformation sequence definitely hits the right spot. For anyone who was questioning the casting choice of Nicholas Galitzine, I think you can rest easy because he looks muscular and powerful enough to play the role. More importantly, I love all the expressions that he brings to the table, and how effortlessly he can switch from a spirited fight scene to a funny scene.
I have the power!
The fight scenes are going to be memorable, especially with He-Man. You know, I've always wondered about the theme of the live-action film because it is so easy to turn this into a fun and entertaining movie without the seriousness associated with it. I've seen glimpses of He-Man fighting in the earlier trailers, but the final trailer really shows him in beast mode as he takes on hordes of fighters who are presumably fighting for the evil Skeletor. This comes right after his transformation scene, and he moves fast and the sword fighting is just perfect. It also goes on to show that Skeletor will need something special to stop him, because his ordinary henchmen don't stand a chance. I also appreciate how the trailer includes a footage of him riding Cringer into battle as the mighty beast runs with him on its back. He-Man has help from Mechaneck, Ram-Man, and Fisto, among others. I think the creators weren't entirely sure whether the fanbase remembers all the characters and lore from almost 4 decades ago. And this is why there's a very simple introductory line from Prince Adam in the final trailer. He's ecstatic to meet Mechaneck, Ram-Man, and Fisto. And what sets this apart from the earlier trailers is that the final trailer actually explores their fighting style and specialty. For instance, as Adam meets them, the scene cuts away to some of their combat moves. And for Mechaneck, we can see how he can extend his neck and use it like a powerful weapon to strike down multiple opponents. Also, he seems to be the enthusiastic one who likes to be involved in things, even though he commonly gets the name of Adam wrong and calls him Alan. Ram-Man's also shown as he strikes a group of fighters like a jet plane crashing into the ground. The mere impact is strong enough to blow them away, and I can't help but notice how unique Ram-Man looks here with his specialized helmet and armor. Lastly, there's Fisto with his powerful fist, and the scene featuring him shows him landing a nasty punch on some unfortunate opponent. The crisis in Eternia might be severe, but He-Man's not alone, and he has the support of some very powerful friends who will come in handy as he prepares to take on the forces of the mighty Skeletor. Of course, you'll also see loads of Man-at-Arms and Teela as the group fight back against the oppressive regime of Skeletor, who has taken over.
What am I supposed to do?
You are he who will restore peace to Eternia.
Zor advising Adam is a major highlight. I think if I have to pick out a very special moment in the final trailer of Masters of the Universe, I'll choose this one because of its significance. It's a scene that shows Zor sitting on the Power Sword as she guides He-Man and takes him through the prophecy that he's supposed to fulfill. For those who don't remember, Zor started off as a messenger falcon in the Masters of the Universe, but with time, Zor was reimagined as a version of the sorceress of Castle Grayskull. It's quite clear that we're seeing this version in the trailer, and the calm tone and confident narrative is all that we can expect from the sorceress. When Adam asks what he's supposed to do, Zor responds that he's the one who will restore peace to Eternia. Now, I'm not sure if the conversation takes place after Adam has already learned about the trick of transforming into He-Man, but even in that case, he does need the guidance. This is another throwback to the original cartoon days, because the sorceress is always the voice of wisdom that guides He-Man through his mission. Wide range of classic retro vehicles and spaceships. I love how accurate the live-action film is trying to be, and the film has even put together a fascinating assortment of vehicles and spaceships that have been revealed across the trailers and teasers. Even the final trailer offers a few glimpses into these mean machines, and you'll get to witness everything from He-Man's epic jet ski-style aerial vehicle to Skeletor's fearsome flying disc ship Roton. In fact, Roton has been reimagined with sleek laser blasting designs, and the signature spinning razor blades are still there. There's even a super cool sequence in the final trailer where you can see He-Man performing a drift-like move with his iconic aerial vehicle. From the looks of it, we'll get to see plenty of fight scenes that feature these cool aircraft, and wouldn't they look stunning on the big screen? If the earlier trailers introduced the idea, the final trailer really drives the point home, and I think it's safe to say we can all expect a lot from this movie.
Seems the prodigal prince has returned. I'm a devil, but I mean to be a god.
Skeletor is evil personified, and Jared Leto is right on the money. I'm aware of all the controversy centered around the casting of Jared Leto, but if I keep that aside for a second and give you an unbiased opinion on his performance, I have to admit that he's absolutely nailed it. The final trailer shows us more of Skeletor and his intimidating presence, and the first thing that you need to know here is that the live-action Skeletor will not be a laughable villain. In fact, the trailer suggests that he might be aware of Adam and his prophecy of potentially defeating him to bring peace to Eternia. This is why you hear the dialogue where he addresses Adam as the prodigal son. He might not know the whole deal, and the sorceress probably managed to keep a few things secretly from it, but he knows enough to target Adam and finish him off before he can pose a serious threat. Skeletor looks absolutely stunning on screen, and while I'm not a huge fan of the Skeletor voice, most of the fans are thrilled to see Skeletor in this avatar. Also, it's worth noting here that there's a significant Easter egg in the final trailer, where you can see Merman painted on the floor beside Skeletor. He may or may not appear, but at least the director acknowledges the presence of such character. Here, there are other scenes featuring Skeletor that make him stand out as a villain to remember, such as the time where he says, "Let me show you what real power looks like." I can promise you that his fights with He-Man will be all your money's worth in the theaters. Romance in the air between He-Man and Teela. One of the things that you'll notice immediately about the trailer is how it balances seriousness with a few chuckles and goofy stuff. After showing you the intimidating Skeletor in his villainous era, the trailer actually ends on a lighter note with a scene featuring He-Man and Teela. It's nothing much on the surface, as He-Man lifts up a spaceship with one hand for Teela to move through, but Teela is absolutely smitten by this show of power. More importantly, there's something about the look in her eye that tells me you might see an adorable romance brewing between the two. It's not a friendly version of being impressed by his power, but seems more like a crush that she might have developed. The story might not have enough room for their love story, but I'm so curious to see their chemistry play out in the movie. There are other interesting moments in the trailer, such as how Skeletor took over and destroyed Adam's family, but I've spoken about that while exploring the earlier trailer. These are the ones that are totally new, and I believe they can give you a better perspective when you head out to watch the film in a few days. I wish I had a time machine so that the agonizing waiting period to see this movie ends immediately. I don't know if you can understand the feeling, but I'm a fan who's waited for decades to see a properly made live-action Masters of the Universe movie, and so far, everything that I've seen in the trailers have impressed me. Yeah, I know that we've been disappointed far too many times after the promise of a hyped-up trailer, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed for this one. Maybe this is going to be the much-awaited revival of the franchise, and I cannot keep calm about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the final trailer, and also share your expectations from the movie that releases on the 5th of June. Also, if you appreciate the efforts to bring you this content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons on our channel for more videos. Stay safe, have a good one.